If you've been selling on Amazon for a while, you already know that PPC can either aggressively scale your business or quietly burn money every single day without you even realizing it. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest problems is that most sellers are never really taught how PPC changes once you start operating at scale. Most advice online is still very surface level. It's something like launch an auto campaign, harvest keywords from there, and then move them into exact match. And sure, some of that does work in the beginning, but once your brand starts doing real volume of about 50 to 100K a month plus, the game changes completely. At that scale, chances are that you're spending at least $5,000 to $8,000 a month in PPC, and every wasted dollar matters, every keyword matters, and bad decisions compound much faster at that scale. Hi, my name's Vijay, and over the last 8 years, I've scaled my own Amazon brand to a little over $6 million in annual revenue. And through my agency, Keystone Growth Partners, we worked with over 65 brands across different categories. And one thing I keep seeing over and over again in brands that are stuck after they cross 50 to 100K a month is that their advertising structure is messy, campaigns get bloated, data becomes unclear, your advertising spend gets scattered everywhere, and eventually nobody in the team really understands what's driving performance anymore. So in this video, I want to walk you through how we actually think about Amazon PPC in 2026 for more established brands. This is not theory, not recycled beginner tactics, just a practical way to think about PPC once your brand actually starts scaling. And whether you run ads yourself, have an internal team, or work with an agency, this should help you better understand what's actually happening behind the scenes. The biggest PPC mistake that I see sellers making is that they treat PPC like it's just an advertising tool. It's not anymore. At this point, PPC is really a visibility engine for your organic sales. So the products that are getting clicks and conversions are usually the products that Amazon keeps rewarding with more organic visibility. So PPC and organic ranking are no longer separate things. They feed into each other. And this is where a lot of sellers get trapped in a cycle where they reduce ad spend to improve profitability, then rankings drop, then sales slow down, and then suddenly they increase spend all over again just to recover lost momentum. I've seen brands repeat that cycle for years. The goal isn't just lower ACoS. The goal should be to build enough visibility and relevance in your niche so that you're able to stick those organic rankings, which in turn would give you the momentum in the long run. So with that, this is how we structure PPC campaigns today by simplifying number one, campaign intent, and number two, campaign structure. So a lot of Amazon accounts become way too complicated over time because people keep layering random campaigns on top of each other, duplicating things, testing too many structures at once, and eventually the account becomes hard to manage. So today, we mainly think about campaigns based on intent and purpose. That's it. Generally, campaigns are separated into 4 core categories. Number one, discovery campaigns. Now, these are really just there to gather data. They're not there to maximize profit immediately. And for the most part, auto campaigns do their job. I know some people think auto campaigns are just for beginners, but some of our best keyword discoveries still come from well-managed auto campaigns. The key over here is structure. So instead of throwing everything into one auto campaign, we isolate targeting types: close match, lose match, substitutes, complements, because each of those behaves completely differently. For example, close match traffic behaves very differently from complements traffic. And if all of that data sits inside one campaign, it becomes extremely hard to understand what's actually working. So instead of just asking, is this auto campaign profitable? We ask, which targeting behavior is producing profitable search terms? And that's a much smarter question, and that's a more layered way to look at the data inside of PPC. Number two, manual keyword campaigns. So once we identify the strong search terms, we move them into manual campaigns. And honestly, this is where I think sellers overcomplicate the PPC the most. You'll see accounts with exact match, phrase match, broad campaigns, single keyword campaigns, duplicate structures, day parting layers. And after that, nobody can even manage the account properly anymore. So what we care about more is intent clarity. What is the shopper actually trying to buy? Because Amazon rewards relevance far more than people realize. So for example, someone searching for collagen peptides for women has a very different buying intent from someone just generally searching protein powder. The more specific the intent, the more aggressively we're usually willing to bid. And this is important because a keyword is actually a person making a very clear buying decision. And that mindset really changes how you approach PPC. Number 3, product targeting campaigns. This again is one of the most underutilized parts of Amazon PPC. Many sellers would focus and obsess over keywords while completely ignoring competitor product pages. But some of the best and highest converting traffic on Amazon comes from shoppers who are already browsing competing listings, because these people are already deep in buying mode. They're comparing options, they've checked out your listing, and they're now looking at others. And if your offer looks stronger in terms of better positioning, better images, stronger reviews, a better value proposition in terms of price, you can take market share directly from your competitor inside of that buying journey. Now, obviously not every ASIN is worth targeting. The factors that we typically look at are weaknesses in competitor listings. So if a competitor has poor images, outdated images, weaker branding, poor reviews, bad differentiation, pricing gaps, those are the kind of competitor ASINs that we want to target for product targeting campaigns. And honestly, this is where creative strategy matters a lot more. It's not just a competitor ASIN that you're looking to target, because PPC performance is heavily tied to conversion rate. So you cannot separate advertising from listing quality. And I see this mistake all the time as well, that you would be targeting a certain keyword or a certain competitor listing with a poor creative or a value proposition. So sellers would try to fix the PPC in terms of bids and keywords when the real issue is possibly the listing itself. Number 4, defensive campaigns. This is something that growing brands usually ignore until competitors start attacking their branded traffic. So if you're doing 50 to 100K a month, most likely you are getting a fair share of branded searches. So people are coming to Amazon searching for your brand name. And once your brand starts to gain traction, competitors will start bidding on your branded keywords and ASINs. And if you're not defending your own traffic, you slowly lose customers that you already paid to acquire. So defense campaigns really aren't exciting. They're not going to be the campaigns that would actually drive incremental profits for you, but it is something that you have to invest in to avoid losing market share from your competitors. And this is something that's extremely critical once your brand becomes established. Now, over and above these 4 levers, there's one really important part which kind of covers all aspects of PPC, which is negative targeting. So if there's one thing that consistently saves brands money, it's proper negative keyword management. This is where a lot of accounts quietly bleed profit without realizing it. Amazon will often match your products to traffic that technically does get clicks, but in some cases just does not convert. And over time, those wasted clicks add up fast. Sometimes scaling isn't about finding more winning keywords, it's just about removing waste. So negative targeting campaigns are typically those campaigns that would help you save a lot of wasted ad spend. It's not going to be the ones that are necessarily going to be driving incremental top line for you. So the dollars that you end up saving through efficient PPC negative targeting campaigns, that's essentially hitting your bottom line directly. And honestly, that's usually a more mature way to think about PPC. Now, one thing that doesn't really get talked about enough once you start operating at higher revenue levels is that PPC stops being just about campaign management, right? Everything non-PPC is also connected over here. So inventory matters, margins matter, cash flow matters, your conversion rate matters, review velocity matters, organic rank matters. So for example, I've seen brands aggressively scale ad spend only to stock out on that ASIN 2 weeks later, and that inventory disruption can hurt ranking momentum for months. So good PPC management isn't just about getting traffic anymore. It's actually about aligning advertising with the entire business. And honestly, this is where a lot of founders begin to feel overwhelmed, because at that scale, you realize you're not just running ads anymore. You're running a pretty complex operating system. Over the 65 plus brands that I've worked with, one pattern keeps repeating is that a lot of founders are spending way too much time inside the business and not actually enough time growing the business in terms of product development, in terms of customer feedback, in terms of building other sales channels, in terms of hiring. So what they instead end up doing is they're checking Amazon bids every morning. They're watching tacos fluctuate daily. They're fixing flat file errors, handling suppressions, managing agencies, in some cases, managing creatives. And after a while, it just becomes exhausting. So the founder really needs to operate as the CEO of the business and focus on aspects where they actually have the core expertise. And that's why systems matter so much. And honestly, that's also why having the right people around you matters. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's this, that Amazon PPC is no longer just an ads platform. At this point, it's really a business growth system. And the sellers who win long-term are the ones who are building structured, data-driven systems instead of constantly reacting emotionally to short-term metrics. So what I want you to focus on is relevance, customer intent, clean account structure, and conversion quality, because these are the things that actually compound over time. And if you found this video useful, I'll be posting more videos breaking down real Amazon growth strategies, lessons we've learned with working with brands, and what actually changes once businesses start scaling beyond that 50 to 100K a month mark. And if you ever want a second set of eyes on your Amazon business from someone who's actually built his own 7-figure Amazon brand, there's a link down in the description where you can reach out to our team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.